Well, hi there guys, and welcome to another video. So guys, today storage is the topic back on the table. As many people who frequent my channel will know, storage is something that I find fun, and you'll have seen a couple of previous references to storage, such as my 8-drive spinning disk storage piece and my rather terrible USB based hot plug storage piece, both of which were based around ZFS. I do like a bit of ZFS, and today will be no different, though it will be slightly different. Today I am going to be focusing on NVMe based storage and setting up with that, so that will be fun, but less of me talking about what I'm going to be talking about and more of me talking about it. So without further ado, over to me. What have we got? Well, I have got 3 boxes here. 3 Intel 670p NVMe drives, I hope. I haven't actually opened the boxes yet. Each 1 terabyte. And this box, which I have opened, I don't know what brand this is, but it is, I haven't actually taken it out of the anti-static bag yet, but I have at least opened the box. It is a 4-port NVMe card. So yeah, I'm going to be putting 3 drives onto it. So let's start by opening up these boxes, shall we? So a bit of tape there, bit of tape. Make short work of that with my Leatherman. Actually, not so short work after all, but maybe long work. Yes, well, powerful tape, I think we can all agree. Okay, so I've got an Intel box inside a cardboard box. That's good. Intel SSD 6 1024 gigas. Let's open up all of these then. That one wasn't quite as well defended. Another Intel SSD 6. And the third and final box. This one giving me a little more gypsum. Another Intel SSD 6. Well, there can be no doubt that I have some Intel SSDs right here. So let's then open these inner boxes. I do enjoy opening boxes of things I bought. Now these were incredibly cheap. I believe Intel has fairly recently decided to get out of the game, so to speak, as far as storage is concerned. So maybe it's something to do with, I don't know, discontinuedness or end of product line or something like that. But these were, I think about 50 something pounds for a terabyte, which I'm led to understand is not a bad price. I have many an SSD. This is only the second time I've bought an Intel SSD, and I guess this will be the last ever Intel SSDs if they're getting out of the game. And what's interesting is that my main boot drive in my computer right here is in fact one of the first SSDs to come out. Actually, I think it's the first one they've ever been released. So yeah, I have the first and the last of Intel. Well, these first 2 packages look very similar. A little booklet in the box, so that's nice. Just put all this packaging aside. Final one here. There we go. Whip it out. There we go. Booklet and box. So there's our 3 SSDs, all looking very nice, or exactly the same. Very happy with those. Right, then let's open the anti-static bag and expose these sensitive components to the world. Got it. Oh, nice. And pull this boy out. I'm surprised that it's this way round in the bag. Usually this sort of thing is the other way around for ease of removal. So that at least this way round I don't have to worry about accidentally touching and blowing components up. Not that I really care about such things. So here is my 4-port NVMe card. I got it on Amazon. I didn't really look to see who it was made by. There aren't really any major indicators as to who this is made by. Not much complexity to it, but then I think the complexity is mostly in the drive itself. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. I only have 3. Support PCIe 4 and 3. That's good, and supports all of the common lengths of PCI NVMe drives. So it's a times 16 card, so each drive gets 4 lanes. Let's open up this box and get the first one out. There we go. Right, this is perfectly suitable working environment, you understand. Nothing dubious about that. Does anything come with any screws? That's interesting. That's an interesting conundrum. I do not believe there are any screws with the card, and the drives certainly didn't come with screws either. So that could be my undoing. No, there is something in here. Let's have a look what we've got. I mean, it actually even comes with a screwdriver. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so there are holes. There are things. What have we got in here? This is... we've got screws. That's very reasonable of them to supply screws. Happy with that. However, we seem to have 1, 2, 3, 4 spacers, a big screw, and 3 little screws. So I'm not sure what the deal is there, what the big screw is all about. It's almost like there's an imposter screw in here that shouldn't be here. Well, let's start by manhandling the first one. Looks like a fairly typical NVMe drive. I don't think I own anything that's a terabyte. I own a 960 gig one that Bev bought for me. I don't remember why he did that. That's what I do on my video editing on. Okay. And let's slip that in there very carefully. Oh yes, beautiful. Well, let's pop them all in to start with and then screw them in. So I'm going to be putting this in a machine of mine that I'm going to make into a storage server. As some of you who watched my previous videos are aware, I do like a bit of storage. But my current storage server I never turn on because it's got 8 spinning disks in it and it just outputs too much heat. So I don't use that. So this will be somewhat smaller. And I will of course be using a bit of ZFS. I'm probably just going to install TrueNAS on this box though, rather than rolling my own, because I do know all about that, but what's the point when you can just... Yeah. Okay, number 2. And then number 3. Okay. Yes, I just put TrueNAS on there. It just, saves me a bit of time. Get some SMB shares going on there. And then probably just copy all the useful data that I have off my current storage server, and then wonder why I have one of those swamping great cases with 8 drive bays and all that. Okay, let's pop it in. Oh yes. Right, well that's all 3 cards put in place. Let's now screw them in. Right, there we have it. Very glad I time-lapsed that. So we now have our card with a full 3 Intel 670p 1TB NVMe drives installed upon it. I'm ready to go into my boy. Right, so I've got my boy open now. I'm going to install my card into the bottom slot of the machine. So bottom slot going in. Beautiful, beautiful. PCI Express times 16. Very nice. Clickety clack. Good clicker. Now I figured out what the extra big screw was for, because case manufacturers these days do not like to include screws unless you get a quality case, like a fractal design. I love fractal design cases, but this isn't one. Right, so is that nicely? Yes it is. Let's screw that boy in. It's taking some time. There we go. Fit for purpose. Right, so that's my NVMe's for that. I've also got another one here that I will install the TrueNAS on, and that is a WD below. Nice cheap boy. 250 gig. That is, oh no, there's a 500 gigger. There's a bit of waste, but hey, cheap in it. So let's pop that in there. Goodie. Generally, as a general rule, I quite like the Samsung Evos. So yeah, if anyone fancies buying me any NVMe's, I'll prefer a Samsung Evo. Right, here we go. Screw that boy in. Such a young man's game, the use of screws and screwdrivers, but I'm getting by. Okay, is that tightening? Yes, there we go. That is tightened. Right, so we have our storage installed in the boy. And let's get our boy back in play. There's your boy. Plug in our various cables. Right, let's power on our boy. It's come on. And let's switch our video over to it. Lights, that's a good sign. I suppose we didn't completely toast it with our quality anti-static precautions. But will the BIOS come on? Will it post? Yes, yes it will. And it has seen the USB stick that I've got in there with a TrueNAS installation image on there that it's trying to PXE boot. That's not what we want. I think it's Dell to go into the BIOS. Who knows? How many times have we spent in our lives sitting jamming the Dell key forever and ever? Many. I think that got it for us. There we have it. I think we go over to boot and boot override Kingston Data Traveler. There we go. TrueNAS, joy. Right, well, I'll go away and install that and then see whether we see our NVMe boys. I should also mention that during the process of installing TrueNAS, I had a sudden realization that what this particular storage device was missing was RGB lighting. So I took the liberty of acquiring a pack of deep, cool PWM RGB fans and installing 3 of them in the case to replace the existing red ones. So yeah, that's good. I should mention that it was kind of annoying because TrueNAS, based on FreeBSD, doesn't seem to support OpenRGB very well at all. I booted up a Debian live image and played around in there a little bit, only to find out that the chip on this board that does all the RGB stuff requires a kernel patch and all sorts of shenanigans. I booted a Windows live image and it just works fine, no problem at all. Fortunately for me, when one sets a colour and then reboots back into TrueNAS, the colour persists, so as long as I don't want anything special going on, it should be fine. So yes, RGB. And there you have it, bish bash bosh, NVMe's installed, RGB installed, TrueNAS installed and set up. Very easy and quick to install TrueNAS. We have one pool called Data, quite unimaginatively, though more imaginative than Tank. One VDEV, RAID Z1, online, 3 devices, online, bish bash bosh, enabled SMB, created a share, just works, copied a bunch of data on there, just some drone B-roll footage, seems to work absolutely fine, no complaints. Incidentally, the RGB bit is optional. Wow, there we have it. Wasn't that exciting? Bit of PCI Express bifurcation, bit of NVMe storage, bit of NAS, bit of fans in colour, bit of everything really that you could ever want in a video. And guys, I do hope you found that video interesting and informative. And guys, please do feel free to comment below. I'd be very interested to hear about how you use storage personally and professionally. Cloud storage, local storage, LAN storage, different classes of storage, anything about storage really. Do let me know in the comments below. I do enjoy them very much. Well guys, I think that's probably about all we've got time for. I've very much enjoyed having you here. I very much enjoy looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now guys, I think there is very little more for me to say, except bye-bye. Never gonna RGB, never gonna RGB.